Hi, my name is Robert Schultz. I live in Bargersville, Indiana. I got an individual here, my brother-in-law, by the name of Eugene Alden, and he's got a situation here that he can't quite get to, and he's got all the parts for it, everything that's necessary. It's just getting the time and the manpower. So if you will, walk with me and we'll have a look. Unfortunately, Eugene lost his mother and father this year, and he has a house adjacent to us in Whiteland, and we've been over there on our weekends and all our spare time trying to get that house ready to sell. He works a full-time job at Dean. I work a full-time job also. So it's basically just the labor on this thing and the love for it. So we'll walk up here and see this thing, and we'll get a chance to meet Eugene. Hello, everybody. I wanted to introduce you to Eugene Alden, let you have a chance to hear his story.
Hi, Garage Squad. Big fan. Watch it for years. Always loved cars. As a child, grew up in Indiana, same area. Always loved working, looking at cars. Neighbors had a GTO in the 60s era. One of them had a 68 Firebird. Just drooled when I saw them. Always had a passion for muscle cars. In my teen years, I tended to move more towards my dad's profession, which is refrigeration. Always kind of stayed with working on cars. I didn't have a lot of money to start with. Had to teach myself how to work on cars just to keep them running, to be able to make it to work. As time goes, tried moving towards making a living, still would work on cars whenever I got the chance, but life kind of gets you. You have to pay bills. You've got to keep things going. Through the years, my parents started having difficulties, needed help. Years ago, I ended up helping them, bought a house, paid utilities, tried to keep mine going. Had to work places that offered lots of overtime just to kind of keep things going. In the meantime, still tried to take what little time I had to work on a car or have a car that runs that, obviously the older cars. I love the muscle cars. Right along with Bruno, I love the GM. Sorry about that, Joe. But I've always loved the GM products. Got GM products, try to keep them, put them together. I've had a project that has been lingering for years. Obviously, taking care of my parents was kind of a priority. I, pretty much didn't have time to do a lot else. I recently lost my parents. It was very hard on me. I lost them both really close together, just a couple of months difference between both of them passing. Neither one was really thought that it was going to happen this soon. They were in their 80s, but you never want them to leave. It was very hard to let it go. I still have the house they lived in that I've purchased, trying to spend time putting it together to put it on the market, and have a hard time going there still to this day to see it, months since it's happened. My mom was always there for us from a child up. The best cook in town, I'll have to say. You can't find somebody better. Through the years, she tried very hard. She worked right along with Dad to keep things going as long as they could. Beautiful young lady. She at one point did a jewelry store She sold glass for a living for a while. She had to waitress. Her main love was food. She was a very, very good cook. And my dad, as he kind of swayed me towards refrigeration, loved the fact that one of his sons were getting into the business. He tried very hard to help me along the way, taught me well. I am very good at my job, but it requires a lot of time. There's no time to do a lot else. Obviously, my passion, muscle cars, trying to work on them as I'm getting older. I have trouble working on them. I do have vehicles that need work. That's pretty much what this is about. I need help. I have things that are a little over my head. As I grew up through my teenage years, I learned how to work on cars by having them broke and having to make them work just to be able to get from A to B. So I do know cars, but that's not what I did. Again, I wasn't in that business, but it's my weekend passion. Again, I have a car that I've had for years. I've been putting parts together for it. I feel it's a little over my head what needs to be done to it. I really need Joe, if Bruno can teach or convince him to work on GM products, because GM's not his favorite car. And I know Bruno likes them. There's a lot of wiring problems for Si to touch on, so the gang has plenty of stuff to do. I have all kinds of parts. I'd love to say I have all the parts, but you know as well as I do. I'll say I have lots of parts and most of the parts, but there's things missing. There's things that are needed, things that I probably aren't thinking of. You guys always come up with it on your show, things that are needed when someone says they have all the parts. I have all the parts, but not all the parts are here. We'll have to put parts together to make parts run. Garage Squad, this is my 65 Cutlass F85. Had it for quite a while, been struggling, picking parts up to be able to put it together. It's a car that my dad had seen in a paper, knew that I liked muscle cars. He liked the car, wanted me to look at it. I actually went, looked at it, purchased it. He always wanted me to have the thing together. Obviously, he's not going to be able to see it run. He's never been able to work on the thing, but he is the one that inspired me to buy it to begin with. It is a 65 Cutlass F85. It has a big block in it. It is a 425. I do have several parts. I have loaded the back seat with front end parts and springs and shocks, headers, heads, carburetor, aluminum radiator, intake. It's in fair shape for the year. I'm sure it needs. So the car has so many things to do. It is going to be a big challenge to try and put this thing together and have it on the road again. I know you guys always run into every car that is a challenge, and this isn't going to be different. This one is going to be a big challenge. And I almost say, I dare you to take my challenge, please, Garage Squad. Help me put my 65 back on the road.